Shino. Yeah, man, you don't know. My name is J Square. Yeah, man, but my real name is Jason Jofield. I'm a young man, 28 years of age, born on September the 25th. And I'm a gospel artist. That's what I do. I do gospel music. I do gospel, predominantly gospel reggae. I also do some gospel soca also into the mix too, and also of course we touch up a little hip hop and so much of different genres, but predominantly a gospel reggae artist. I'm also the CEO of 2 record labels, one being HTE Music, where I've signed 6 other artists, and I also have Empress Records, where I have signed 4 other artists. So I'm really managing on an average 10 other gospel artists, managing them in terms of their career, pushing their music and that kind of stuff. So that's what I also do. Apart from that, in terms of J Square, I really do a lot of traveling into the various islands, the various countries. So being able to touch Grenada, Guyana, Suriname, Barbados, the UK, the US, and other islands to other countries. So I've been around really seeing gospel music in different places, different areas. I have 4 albums, first one being in 2008 and the last 2 was in 2012. So I have 4 albums. I also have 3 mixtapes, and I have at least 8 or so music videos. I've been nominated several times for various Marlin Awards. And so that's what basically who I am, J Square, in a nutshell. In terms of music, I've been doing music since the year 2000. So that's almost about 14 years doing music. Really pushed stuff professionally from year 2000. So that's almost, you're talking about 14 years doing gospel music in Trinidad and Tobago. One of my more popular unknown songs is Sew the Curtain. That has played a lot around Christmas time all over the area. So I've been able to have some relative amount of success in music. Seen the highs, seen the lows. That's who I am in a nutshell.
How could this woman use depression?
Alright, nice. Well, the inspiration behind the song is that one day, I'm trying to formulate as to, not really formulate, but I'm trying to remember as to how I even came across this story. But I heard of this story of this man Yusuf who had his daughter under his house in his basement for how much number of years, more than 20 years. And he fathered many children with a few children, some of the children died. And then he as a man, his wife at that point in time did not know that her own daughter was right below the house. I'm not too sure it was just 1 or 2 daughters, but I know he had them there. She didn't even know. And he would write letters on behalf of her as though she had run away. And even some of the children, her grandchildren, he would leave them on the doorstep as though the daughter had left the grandchildren there for the grandmother, of course. And so when I heard about that story, it really moved me. I was like, wow, this is what is taking place in the world today, right now. When I wrote it was some years back. I wrote that song in 2010, anywhere around in 2010. So it was from years back. But it had really moved me to a point where I say, wow, I really wanted people to hear and to know this is what is happening in the world today. Because what happens in our society today, we get so caught up in our own selves, we get so caught up going about our daily lives, doing our own thing, hustling, trying to make our money, trying to make our house big. We're looking to get our house, our car, children in school, everything A-okay. And sometimes you don't take the time off to really see what is going on in the world today, what is really happening across the globe, what is really happening in the lives of so many people. And the reality is that, you know what, when things come back home to roost, it's only then sometimes people wake up and be like, wow, this is what our country has really come to. And for me, for a man to be a father and a grandfather of a child at the same time, I just find I was really messed up, seriously. And I find, wow, I needed to, as an artist, I felt as though it was my responsibility to let the world know hey, this is what is happening, and especially being a gospel artist, is where it is to bring across, yes, we bring across positive message to this nation. But I wanted people to sit back and listen. I do a lot of songs where I have people interact and wave their hands and jump. But I wanted to do something where people would just sit down and just listen to the words and really make them wonder. I wanted that after people listen to the song, that they went on YouTube, they went on Google, and really Google the story and get the full news for their own selves. I wanted to pique that interest, let people go and say, hey, this is what is really happening. And also this young lady, Andrea, is the same thing, where this mother, she took 5 of her children and she drowned all 5 of those children, rest them on the bed face up. And to me that was like amazing. I mean, I just have one daughter, and I don't know how she blamed it on depression, but I can't see how I could get so depressed that I could even take the life of my own daughter. And even in today's time, I mean, I wrote that song years ago, but even in today's time, we see just recently there was this father, and he drowned his 2 children, not drowned, sorry, but he took Gramaxone. Well, they didn't state what it was. He took a deadly substance, more or less as Gramaxone, right? And he killed himself, and he killed his 2 children. And so it's the same thing, a 10-month-old boy and a 3-year-old girl. And here it is the same thing where parents taking the life of their children, and it moved me. At that point in time, I did not have a daughter when I wrote this song. And now that I have my daughter, it's even more, it's so much more to me. So when I wrote those lyrics, I say, you know what, boy, I really want not just Trinidad and Tobago, but I want the world to listen and to take heed as to what is happening and realize that we need intervention, we need some change, we need something. I know what I believe in terms of what the solution is. Others may have a different point of view, you understand me? But we all could come to one realization and understand that definitely this world needs some kind of change.
The world needs restoration, yes, from the evils of men.
Alright, well, the song, at that point in time that was in 2010, I did an album called One More Chance. And at that point in time, prior to that, I was doing a lot of songs that were very appreciated commercially. So I was really being able to reach out to the airwaves really nicely, because they were very nice sing-along songs that could touch and impact many people. And I love sing-along songs, they are very good. But I felt as though God had called me for something much more than that, and for something completely different. Maybe you are called for that in that area. And so I wasn't really walking in it, because I had certain successes doing a particular type of music. And so I felt as though there was a period in my life I felt as though I lost it, and as though that was just pulled away from me. And so I was asking God for one more chance to be able to really sing and to really do what He called me to do, basically. And I find out that this song was an example of those songs that I believed I as an artist was called to pen. I believe I'm called to sing and write stuff that others people wouldn't sing, because it wouldn't be the popular thing, it wouldn't be the in thing. For example, this song is not no song that you're gonna hear a million pull up. It's not a song I believe it's a song that could play anywhere and receive a lot of radio airplay. But because of how society is, sometimes we don't wanna focus on what we may see it as something negative. We just wanna party, have a good time and re. But at the end of the day, it's much more. Life is much more than that. And so that's how this song tied into the album. It was one of the songs that I believed that, hey, this is what I was really called to sing. I would not get the big popular fanfare, I wouldn't win the Grammy, I wouldn't be the in thing, because I'm not singing the in thing, but I believe that I would be relevant, and I know that the music would touch somebody, and that even years from now, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years from now, this song would still be relevant, and even more so in our society as we continue to go on.
Yeah. Families are living on boats, yes, it is a scare, because the world needs intervention.
I believe that many of the things that is spoken about, but that I wrote in this song, is happening right here in Trinidad and Tobago, but it's very hush-hush, it's on a low. There's a high case of rape, there's a high case of molestation, and you see it on people every single day. So we may find it appalling when you hear of this father who would have his child in a dungeon for 20 something years and father children her, but the reality is it's happening right here in Trinidad and Tobago, right in our society. These things are happening, and though the child may not be in a dungeon, the child may be going to school to and fro. They would have been grown up in a home for much 20 something years, still a slave and still bound to these type of molestation and abuse. So these things are real and they are happening here in Trinidad. And even in terms of with the mother who took the life of her child, we are seeing so many cases of where sometimes parents are taking the life of their own children, and so it's happening, it's real. And so when I did this song, it's worldwide. I believe that the world is huge, and when I do my music, it's not just to impact my country, Trinidad and Tobago, but it's to impact the world. So when I looked at all these world issues, the murder rate, the crime, so much of things that is taking place around the globe, it really comes home to roost. It affects us right here in Trinidad and Tobago because we are part of the world. And you know, sometimes in Trinidad as things happen in the world, and sometimes the criminal elements see it, sometimes you see it being reflected right here, even just recently with the type of murder that happened with one of the state prosecutors, and so it's just a time where the world is very the world is in turmoil, the world is really crazy, it's messed up, and sometimes we could just sit down and say, you know what, we could point fingers and we could say this is happening and that is happening, but then what is the solution? What are we looking to do to bring about a change or bring about a difference right here in our solution? And so doing this song, I felt as though I had to do something to no longer just speak about the problem, but help to try to curb and to change things that are happening right here in Trinidad and Tobago. So that's how this song already, even though I deal with world issues, would tie in to my country, Trinidad and Tobago.
How could this one man be filled with so much evil? 73 and sold out.
Well, for me, being a gospel artist, the intervention is clearly Jesus Christ. There's no other solution. That's just the reality. It's what I believe in. You may say why it is I hold to this belief. It's something I believe in the Bible first of all, and the Bible speaks about these times. The Bible speaks about the last days. The Bible speaks about a time when there'll be wars and rumors of wars. The Bible speaks about a time where man will become lovers of themselves. You understand? A time where the heart of man will wax cold. And when you see certain things that the Bible has spoken about, it's being played out right now in today's time. So I believe in the Bible, and the Bible speaks about Jesus Christ being that solution, being that intervention. As a matter of fact, Jesus Christ came once and was the intervention for the world. Even when they study the Old Testaments, where in the times of the scribes and the Pharisees, where the world was in turmoil and man had to do all sorts of different things in order to have a sacrifice, then basically to atone for sins. And Jesus Christ, he came in and he died, and he became now that sacrifice for us. He became that intervention at that period in time in the life of, or in the world itself, which caused about and which brought about salvation for us now as men and women. So the reality is that he is the solution. That is why I believe, and I know that there are many people who hold a different belief, and that is why I don't try to I wouldn't say preach, I do preach. I don't try to push down my belief or shove it down the throats of other people. I just state what I believe, and what I believe is based on the Bible, and I've seen it work. I've seen it work for me in terms of my own life, because in my life I needed intervention, I needed change, and it's only when Christ came in, then the problems were still there, bad situations still happened, but I had a comforter, I had somebody that I could call on, somebody that could make a difference and a change in my life. And across the world you could see it in terms of when we see the earthquakes, the wars and the famines, things are happening across the world. And many people say, hey, if there was really a God, why would he allow all these bad things to happen? But the reality is, it's clear from in the Bible time when man went against God, sin came into the world. And hence we are reaping the cause of that. And so in a nutshell, the world definitely needs Jesus Christ. Many people do not believe that the world needs Jesus, but they believe that they need some higher power. Some people don't believe in God at all. Some people believe that we are spiritual beings, or if you hold to the belief of Scientology, you believe that no, we are gods, etc. Every man is entitled to their own belief, but at the end of the day, your belief, it shapes out your action. And for me, when I see people who believe in Jesus Christ, believe in God, you see a different life. You could talk to somebody you know Christ, you see them walk differently, you see them talk differently. You may have struggles, but at the end of the day, you see that change. And you meet people who have been living one particular way, and when Christ comes in, you see a complete difference. And Christ is one of the first, or one of the persons that I see when he comes into the life of a human being. You see a complete change, you see a difference, you see something that happens supernaturally, you see an intervention, a turnaround. And that is what this world needs. This world needs a turnaround. And so for me to go into detail, in terms of my belief, I believe that Jesus Christ is Lord, and if you could give him a chance, definitely you'll see an intervention. And if our world could give him a chance, if Trinidad would give him a chance, and the countries would give him a chance, we'll definitely see an intervention. Alright, well, for me, doing this video, it has been a video that I already wanted to do for a long while because of the message in it. And for me, I have some great expectations. I expect that the video will reach far and wide. I mean, I'm a part of a network, so I know for the time that I release a video, it will go across the globe from Kenya, Switzerland, right back, because I have a lot of fans and in those countries that love the music. So I know it's going to touch and reach out there. But I really wanted to just reach across the board as far as possible. My real dream is if it could reach some family member or somebody close to Yusuf, for the people that I spoke about, even if it could reach the father of Andrea who was there, if it could reach like somebody close to them or anything like that, they could say, hey, we saw a video and we didn't know that even way down in Trinidad you guys were paying attention. I mean, that would really be like a great blessing to me. And if this video could really allow people to come out, or young ladies to speak out about being molested and to talk, because many of the songs that I do in these areas, a lot of young people afterwards, they open up to their school teacher, they open up to a trusted relative, and they speak about things that they are facing. So for me, I really want that when this video is released, especially in the area of molestation, in terms of child molestation, I'm praying that some child will be brave enough and say, you know what, I'm going to talk to my school teacher, talk to a trusted relative, talk to somebody, and let them know what is happening in my life. I really believe that whatever we do should bring about change, should bring about difference, should cause some kind of impact in the world. It could either cause a negative impact, cause a positive one. So I pray that when this video is released, that a positive impact happens and that it goes far and wide.
As the world is coming to an end. The world. Mothers are. Tune in to CNN, MSNBC, me say to listen yesterday. Read about the man who had 7 children with his own daughter. It's crazy, yes. The man is Joseph in Austria, enslaved for 24 years, his own daughter. Had 72 children with her, locked her up in his old cellar. It's crazy to think about. Every night she scream and shout that the covering up a month. It's crazy to think and say when she plead for mercy, he would rape her anyway. How could this one man be filled with so much evil? 73 and sold out to the devil. And now his grandchildren will all say that the grandfather is also their daddy. The world needs intervention, cause the world is coming to an end. The world needs restoration from the evils of men. Listen, my pen, The world needs intervention. Cause the world is coming to an end. The world needs restoration. Yes, from the evils of men. How could a mother take a 5 children? Take maybe Luke, Paul, John, and I know of them. Whole 5 of them and drunk them in a part up friend. How could she do this today? How could this a Houston mother, 36-year-old Andrea, use a home as a graveyard, as a tombstone? Man, it's so sad. It's scary to think about. When they plead for mercy, mommy covering up the mouth. It's scary to think and say when they call for daddy, she would drunk them anyway. How could this woman use depression as a cause of doing this a sin, man? And now her husband would always wonder how his kids would have looked when they are grow older. The world needs intervention. Cause the world is coming to an end. The world needs restoration from the evils of men. Listen my pain. Cause the world is coming to an end. The world it needs, yes it needs. Oh no. Hear me now. Gun violence, bloodshed, the gangs are standing strong. Yes. My Spanish people, El Salvador, what is going on? Yes. Mother Africa, Mother Africa, Ethiopia, more than 100 people dead in Madagascar. Yes. Russia, me love ya. But it seems like the heart disease taking over. Over 13 million people still are suffering, and homicides and suicides still increasing. China big up on yourself, but your population, yes you know it needs a help. Over 30 million people are born each year. Families are living on boats, yes it is a scare. Cause the world needs intervention. Cause the world is coming to an end. The world it needs it. Yes. Intervention. Yes, it needs it. Intervention. Haiti needs intervention. 7.0. Yes, they feel it. Chile needs intervention. 8.8, yes, you know they feel it. Need intervention. The world.
Yeah man, when you done it's about J Square. Thanks for spending this time with me, listening to my heartbeat here, the things that I love. And I don't know, if you want to looking for more information, be sure to check me out. My website is www.htemusic.com. or hit me up on Twitter at J Square Music or Facebook J Square Music fan page. Just look for me. I'm around right here in Trinidad and Tobago, touching the world. That's what we're about. Shina.